You're listening to the New Old Heads podcast, shot live every Tuesday at twitch.tv/newoldheads and released every Thursday at noon via bringingdowntheband.com. The show is brought to you by Coleman Dental, Printfinity, Indie CD and Vinyl. Support the show directly by becoming a member at patreon.com/newoldheads.
You are now tuned in to the New Old Heads podcast. I am Major 7. The crew is here, -1. My man Jay Moore, how are you, sir?
Just getting it how I live, enjoying July 5th.
Hot outside, man.
It's hot outside, and also do your history on July 5th.
Oh, I see. Okay. A little wisdom. I like that. Longevity. Hey, buddy.
How's it going, man?
How are you?
Doing all right.
Thank you.
Oh, that was a question?
Yeah, I was just checking in on you.
I thought I was just going to say enjoying my July 5th.
Oh, do you know why?
No, not at all. But
Okay.
doing it.
Oh, man, DJ Jay Diff. What's happening?
Salutations.
How's everything with you, brother?
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Be a little more breezy. That'd
I
be
feel
fine.
you. I feel you. But for the most part, though,
Yeah,
overall.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. Good to see you, gentlemen, as always. Shout out to the homie Red August. Out of town, I believe, handling some grown folk business. We'll see you next week. Shout out to the chat as well. Let's see. I think I have all engines ready to go, I believe. I think we got it this time, Long.
Good.
I think we got it this time.
Well, we communicated this week, so there's
We
that.
did. Communication is the key. This
Communication
is
helps.
live, so communication is the key. Jay, I think Jay Moore brought this up a while back. I don't think he remembers it, but I was having a conversation about integrity with one of my homies. He's a producer.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about finding loops and just, skipping over the obvious at our age because I guess it's quote unquote too easy and there's no integrity there. Finding the big loop, boom, putting some drums over it, we off to the races. And I think sometimes we gas integrity because what we hear now is everybody's doing it for the bag. Everybody does this for the bag, that for the bag. But hasn't that always been a thing in hip hop? Hasn't everything been related to the bag, or are we just putting that on? You don't think so? That's why. That's why I'm
they
asking.
weren't making money.
But what I'm asking is, that's why I want to talk about it, because you saw the 4-finger rings, you saw people with all the chains and stuff like that. So it was a part of it.
Now Street.
Huh?
Now Street.
I see. What I'm asking is,
Those jackets weren't actually made by Gucci.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Fair enough. What I'm asking is, have we gassed that concept? Because I think we hear it more now, but hasn't everybody been about paper, into the paper? Even if it was on a lower scale?
At the end of the day, that was I would say the goal, but they weren't making money like that back then. That's why Jay-Z has referenced like the Fresh Fest or Fresh Crew and all of them, saying that we overcharging for what they did to them because they weren't making it like that. It was just they were flashy and they had means to make it look like they had money, but they didn't have money like that.
What I've always subscribed to is, and I've been in this side of it, is that it was more about quote unquote the art back then, like just actually being a creative and doing it
Because it had to be.
Yeah,
because it had to be. But I guess my question is, I'm just thinking,
dope. That's the only capital
you had to be
had.
true. That part of it is legit, but I'm just thinking, I know people were still motivated by we trying to get out the hood. I'm trying to get out my situation. In addition to, just being a dope creative, I just don't know if it's something that's been gassed or is it just straight evolution, because now everything is about paper, in my opinion. I think the artist and the integrity and everything is at the lowest now. But I just don't know
to
if
a certain extent. I can't say that as a whole for
on the
whole
mainstream
game. I wouldn't even say on the mainstream because there's still people out there that are literally striving to be the best them that they can be, even though the product might not be as good as you think it is or you think it should be. To them, they're, stepping into their greater self.
Would that portion, let me ask you this. The portion that you're describing, is it fair to say that that's lower in relation to like the norm with the people that's just really getting to the bag? That's what I'm saying. Like percentage wise, it's a lot lower, right?
I can agree with that.
Okay.
Maybe that's I don't think that everybody's just in it as a money grab.
Okay.
Because it started out as something to pass time, to entertain the youth who were in these housing projects, and gave them something to do. They weren't necessarily thinking about getting paper. Who who knew that one day that something that you were doing in your projects was going to turn into a worldwide phenomenon?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't think they knew it back then. It was just them being young, fresh, and fly, and it morphed into something bigger than them. And then eventually the bag came. I mean, thinking about it, I mean, the first artist to really start making some money was what, Run DMC?
Curtis Blow.
Curtis
LL
Blow
was getting some paper.
And then,
But that was still later.
Yeah.
Because see, I'm not talking when I to your point, when it was at its infant stage and they in the park and rocking. I feel
Does Curtis Blow still have paper now? Like, was his stuff together?
I mean, because you still got to, when people use the breaks, anything from the breaks, or when they came and used Christmas rapping for next Too Close. Curtis Blow got a check, and that song plays a lot.
That's true.
So
That's
Curtis
got
Blow
a nice check off
still
that.
gets, like, there are people, like I heard Lenny Williams say, like, he still gets like a 6-figure check from when Kanye
Slow
used
Jams.
from no,
Not Slow Jams. What am I missing? With
I can't remember, but it was a next
with
song.
Twister.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
so
with Twister.
he said, look, I help me put my kids through college. You know what I'm saying? Like
Overnight celebrity.
Yeah,
that's what it
you like. So if you're one of those and you took care of your paperwork, which I'm assuming he did, because we don't ever hear any hard luck stories about Curtis Blow.
That's true.
So I mean,
you're really none of the people that really start getting paper in hip hop, you don't hear nothing about them. Like Run DMC, I mean, they're solidified. I'm sure they get great residuals off what they did, and then
I would think so.
Even the Fat Boys, I mean, it's only one left now.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But you never heard about them being in any monetary trouble or anything like that.
What you think about the just the concept?
Definitely not LL.
Nah, LL, he got
LL
it
getting that TV money. He ain't thought about it.
Ice-T too.
Yeah, so
especially Ice-T. He
20 years on one TV show. He's on TV literally somewhere in America every day.
He low key should get more flowers for that. Coming from the rapper that he was.
Hey, he doesn't need the flowers, but you know why? Because he gets checks. Ice-T lived better than almost anybody you have ever seen.
I'm with you
Did
when
you
you
see
right.
the evidence?
That's crazy.
Cold case.
That's
Mike F's
crazy.
is stupid, man. That's crazy. What do you think about that, Jay Moore? Is it just par for the course, man, or is it?
Well, I think when you talk about integrity,
Right. And this can go for production as well.
And the
That's
thing
what
is, we
started
don't
it for
even
me.
have to talk about, money, because all of a sudden, because there's always that thing to where like, oh, I'd rather have some respect than some money. You hear people say, at
100%.
one point said stuff like that in hip hop. I think I'm alluding a little bit to 𝗂𝗲𝗔𝗗𝗪. No, maybe I can't remember.
I think you're in the right track.
Yeah,
I
but
think you're on the right track.
it depends. And what integrity is to some people is different. For whatever you have to say about, Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, Diddy, Brother Love, whatever, his family, his children are all taken well care of, and depending on which artist you talk to, like there's some artists who said, I have no problem with the business I did with Diddy because, but if you talk to Mace, Diddy has no integrity at all, and he owes me my publishing. But if he asks me to go on tour, I'll go right now.
Say that.
Shine just did a whole bid beyond Puffy and came and performed for his BET
That's
special.
tough.
So when you talk about integrity, it depends on what form of integrity, because like for some people, the highest form of integrity is making sure that your children are taken care of. For some people, if you're an artist or a creator, your integrity, when dealing with somebody is how they do business with you. So but there's always been like this kind of yin and yang to where people feel like you can't be Jay-Z or Beyonce and have any integrity because you're so rich.
Right.
When you talk
It's only for black artists.
Well,
though,
that's true.
unfortunately.
That part.
And so when there's always people looking to like tie them to the devil or whatever. And so obviously you can't have integrity. Now you just completely skip over all the the charitable work they do and all the people they activism they do and get people out of jail, but that's not important. I don't feel like because I'm an artist, like I was supposed to get $3 per record when I put my albums out, non-recoupable. So that is a lack of integrity on these people's part. But I just think that that whole integrity, like it's almost like when there was always the backpackers versus the commercial rappers. These people have no integrity because they want to be on TV and on the radio. And here I am. I have integrity because I have these lyrics and I don't use obvious
you wanna
samples.
Be on the TV and radio too.
You know,
honestly.
the thing is, once any of those people get a commercial look, boy, they are so happy to take it.
We can speak on that. I don't know if it's the height of that conversation, but I remember that vividly, the backpacker versus the
because
the rapper that sold out.
I got caught up in that. I was like, man,
I did too.
Those people, I'm real hip hop over here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm over here, in this basement and listening to the real, and those people at those clubs popping champagne. That's not real. People don't have any integrity just because they might like something different. They party.
You
a
wasn't
different
even
way.
wearing a spacesuit. We talking about real hip hop.
Yeah,
Man.
Cats was back wearing suits and
with the
glitter and all kinds of stuff.
having and just because they sampled Diana Ross, there's no integrity to that. I sampled Diana Ross, but it wasn't one of her hits. I mean,
there was mad layers to that conversation.
so I mean, I think there are levels to what people consider integrity, depending on what your interaction is with them. So I don't know. It's just that eternal question because. Now there are people who might have been, oh man, forget Puffy and them. Like there are people now. There's been a resurgence of people saying, hey man, we should have gave more respect to MC Hammer. You know what I'm saying? He really knocked down a lot of walls for us to be able to get this money in the industry.
That's a fact.
And you got to understand there were people when, that the guys who rapped in the park. And they didn't get a chance. They made money off of shows and passing around tapes. And then here comes Run DMC, just dressed like guys from the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, well, what are these guys doing? You know what I'm saying? So if you came out and you were a rapper and you had an MC and you were getting love in 1977, I don't even want to talk about the Sugar Hill Gang because that's a whole nother thing. But I'm talking about the guys who were actually in the park, those legends that we know about.
Yeah.
And then here comes, and then when you have Africa Bambaataa, they dress like, the Hebrew Israelites mixed with like some real rock and roll type stuff. And then you see Run DMC and it's like, how you going to do a stage show, two guys with just leather jackets, Godfather hats and Adidas? That doesn't make any sense. So you'd be like, where's their? So at that point, they're like, where's their integrity? They're not carrying on tradition. So it's always somebody who's going to see the next level of something.
That's true.
And feel like there's no integrity to that, not only artistically, but then they'll take it in a place where like, okay, if they're getting this much financially, how much integrity can they actually have? And that's just
That's where I'm going to go.
It's the
That's what I was about to
it's the
ask.
eternal question, and we're never going to stop talking
What
about it.
you think, Long?
Well, I mean, hip hop started off as like a movement of sorts, right?
Right.
Sure.
What was the movement about?
Movement was pretty much about having fun,
Stopping these gang fights.
Yep.
and having something to do in the neighborhood. I mean, they were in housing projects.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, it was some birth
A big block
from that,
party.
pretty
Right.
much.
So I feel like there's multiple conversations that could be had. I feel like we could go super deep into this conversation about the integrity because you guys really eloquently kind of broke down levels of capitalism, right? And how that has affected different communities and how it always, as we see right now, it people at the top always want more and people at the bottom want what the people at the top have, right? I don't know. I feel like it was different before the entire capitalist system, right? Just
Before the crack era.
well before that.
Essentially,
well,
that's what
well,
kind of heightened the money aspect of it.
But even it was really kind of after that. So it's like, and it's not like one thing, right? But once capital was infused into hip hop, it changed because it was like it there's so much more that you can reach with it. And I feel like at the heart of kind of what the music, like the argument that we hear is like, well, it was just for the art. It was for the sake of creating to create,
The culture, the love.
to push the movement of
Right.
betterment and all these things, right? Once capital gets involved, then that gets pushed aside because it's like, oh, well, we can all get money, which, right? Because we're in that system anyways.
Right.
But to me, once you start like living by capitalist ideologies, you lose some integrity off top. it's just that it's just what capitalism does. I mean, I'm not to get super political, but I've been thinking about this stuff a lot recently. So, you know, it's like we see it and it's around us. So I don't know. Maybe that makes sense to some people. Maybe it doesn't.
Well,
others,
I mean, because, and this is where, you know, especially when I'll never forget. I remember reading an issue of The Source, and this is 91, 92, and
reading
the,
reading a magazine.
Yeah,
Wow.
crazy. Print is dead. But the interviewer was with Phife Dawg from a Tribe Called Quest. Rest in peace to him. And I'll never forget, like, because he was in a BMW, and like it was almost like he had to like justify him being, you know, this rapper who has these accolades, if you will, and is considered, you know, this in the pantheon of what it is that we do here as far as hip hop. And he's like, oh man, you know, it's an investment, which a luxury car is never an investment.
Nah, because
But it's like you know,
know,
you are a successful, you sell records, you do shows. You don't have to justify to me why you have a BMW.
Right.
True.
It's almost like we feel like it would be like if you know, it's like sometimes there are people who feel a certain way when they see that their favorite rapper might actually have a nice house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're supposed to be one of the people. It's like, well, yeah, I'm one of the people, but I sell records and do shows.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm already getting it.
but it's also a thing where like I also relate it back to just, you know, black music in America, you know, coming from the blues. Even if you look at some parts of the gospel tradition, it always has been, there's always been a level of aspiration to it. You know, even when we talk about, and I know we said we were going to skip over the Sugar Hill Gang, but I'll bring it back to them just for this point. You know, we talked about how, you know, that whole thing, they didn't have a color TV so they could see the Knicks play basketball. You know what I'm saying? A Lincoln Continental and a brand new Cadillac. Like, that sounds like crumbs compared to what these guys rap about now, as far as having, you know, buying the girl a Birkin bag every day and having, you know, riding twin Bentleys. You know, that doesn't sound like anything.
Don't do that if you're out there doing that.
But, you know, it just is a thing that, because there was this time where, like, oh, if you were materialistic, you had no integrity in you know, in hip hop. Like, there was that backpacker time, I want to say, you know, around that 93 to 99.
We lived that era.
You know, if you had on gold and you had a nice car in your video, you were seen as not authentically hip hop.
But look, though, be clear. The guy that you talked about and you described that was in the basement, right? Versus the people that were out on the boats or whatever. Be clear, the dude that's blowing the dust off the vinyl, he definitely would love to be a part of that. You can say that you are for the culture and this and that.
I don't understand.
Look,
why it's taboo to want to have more. I mean, with
because
any
this
kind of
capitalist
talent,
society
with
has
any
done
kind
so
of
much
talent,
to our culture.
any kind of talent or know-how is generally rewarded with money or wealth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
And
if you're good, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
if you're good,
you want to aspire to be good enough to live off of your talent. Some people, I think the problem now is it's so saturated that some people don't have to put in as much work as others did and may not even be considered as good. So you frown at them versus looking at the bigger picture. That, I mean, it's like hitting the lottery almost. This person just he hit the lottery. He didn't have to grind that much, but he's still in a position to play the game the same way that somebody that grinded for 10 years and finally made it there.
It's funny that you said that to kind of to bring it back to my original point about the production conversation. Have you ever heard or listened to Pete Rock talk about how hard it was to make beats on the SP1200s, and then hear him talk about, or I've heard RZA say how full loops can be dragged over into sessions now that have melodies that are already set up.
Yeah,
like these guys had a very small amount of sample time on 8 or 9, 10 tracks or whatever. So by nature, they're going to say, man, it's so much easier now. All these kids got to do is drag and drop to hit to his point. Like, I totally get that.
What's that got to do with integrity, though?
No, I'm talking about, it just jumped out of my mind from when he said that, because Pete Rock will say, well, these guys got it easy now, so it's not the same. It's not real. It's not.
It's going to be easy. I mean, lots of things are easier.
in 20 years from now,
I hope
they'll
so.
say, hey, those guys had it easier.
I agree.
In 2020, and where we had it, they have it so much easier than we did in 2022.
But
It's the purest conversation.
But that's the
what
way
I'm
it's
saying.
supposed to be.
It
You know what
is.
I mean?
It's
Like,
evolution.
We're
It's evolution.
supposed to. evolve in a positive way to where things get better throughout time. We're not supposed to go backwards.
Your kids aren't supposed to struggle as hard.
It's easier
I
to start
agree.
a fire
Even though we-
nowadays than it was in the Ice Age.
Yeah.
Right. I don't need a flint
Yeah.
in a rock or anything to start a fire now. I'm not mad at that.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like
Throw me
when
that
we
fire
had
stick.
a conversation, you know, or maybe this wasn't with y'all, but like we talked about like maybe our first computer.
Mhm.
Yeah, we
And
talked about that.
yeah, and the ridiculously
Yeah.
terrible specs, you know, like
And
RAM,
how long it took to
yeah,
log
the
onto the
RAM and
internet.
all
you
that.
know, I mean, you know, at one point, you know, people would have to play a song at double or triple the speed because they only had, you know, 2 or 3 seconds of sample time.
Yep.
And so that was one of the tricks they had to do to get, you know,
Which is
more of a loop.
extremely
Or
harder.
you might be
than-
playing the same song for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So
And that like if somebody put that equipment in front of me and I got a tutorial on how to use it, my mind's not wired to use it that way.
But just because you have it easier, that doesn't mean there's a lack of integrity in what you
no,
do.
it doesn't.
Absolutely.
And it
right.
doesn't mean that person isn't just as talented as you were.
Yeah.
Whenever you was putting yours together.
They just have
that's the-
access to better tools.
That's the part that gets lost is the fact that you can still be cold with the updated kit. The
Yeah.
talent can still be there. I think that
But
part
I, you
gets
know,
lost
and
sometimes.
I remember saying this about Scott Metallic. It took him a little longer, you know, to get off of vinyl to finally get, you know, Serato. You know, once again, for some of you younger people listening, there are some people who literally had to bring crates of
Straight
records
wax.
to a club to go ahead and rock a party. But
Some that
as
can still
soon as
do it
he
too.
got Serato, he was basically unstoppable.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the thing is like now you give Premier or DJ or Battle Cat or any of these producers that worked, if you give them these same tools, you know, maybe you don't hear their names as much, or maybe they're not as into it as they used to be. But if they really sat down, they'd be considering the limited hardware that they had at that time. Would now,
Go watch Jazzy Jeff. It's like a layup.
come on now,
It's like a layup.
It's but you know, at the same time, it's I don't think it's something to be like if you're already to Jay Moore's point, if you're already good at something,
Mm-hmm.
you really have to be in a mindset to be able to embrace
Change.
the change of what everything is going to be. You can't be that person like, oh man, like, yeah, we had it so much harder because I could only sample 10 seconds on an SP and I had to put it to 45 mode and all this other stuff. It's like, yeah, but look, it's not easy to learn these programs that are out right
that
now.
part.
Just like, I mean, I bought an MPC 2000 XL a decade ago. I made one beat, took me 2 hours, and I sold it because I didn't want to do it anymore.
I remember.
It's the other way around with learning this technology. Like my class is 9 months long, but at the same time, like you're not going to be good at the end of 9 months unless you practice every single day, and you're probably not going to be good.
There is,
But it's you know, there's still hurdles in every aspect of it.
I
You
agree.
know what I mean?
I agree. I've called you many a night saying, look, what does this mean on this install? I have no idea. You know what I'm saying? It's with new equipment, new stuff. So
Yeah, it's
no, it's just
So whether it
It's a
be
good conversation,
artistic or
though.
just personal integrity, you know, it does depend on who you're dealing with and what your relationship is based on.
Yeah.
Because like I said, you could be the best father, the best husband in the world, and then someone who does business with you would be like, man, he stole $50,000 from me.
true.
You know, so
True.
or he took all my publishing. Now it's worth, you know, $300 million.
and why do they do that? Because of capitalism.
Talk
That's
to
why.
him, Lone. Bring it back to capitalism.
Y'all want to know how really? No, let's.
Yeah. Let's be cool. Let's be
But
cool.
speaking of $300 million,
Wait a minute.
no,
You confused me.
No,
Yeah,
no.
You see my mind working? Yeah. You confused me right there. I caught that. Lone was about to throw something at me. All right. So good conversation, gentlemen. I just
No, I didn't know what was going on.
figure
Still don't actually.
you'll see here. So this next topic. Now I was shocked by this. I found this. I had no idea. The numbers were staggering for me, and this is in relation to rock groups that have been sampled in hip hop.
Mhm.
Now I didn't. Some of the numbers, like I said, we can kind of go through the list. But it's the 10 most sampled rock acts in hip hops. Usually, you know, I'm thinking the jazz, soul. You know what I'm saying? What other genre would I think that would be heavily sampled in hip hop? To me, it would be soul,
It's R&B.
jazz, R&B, perhaps.
Topic is structured all.
What's up?
It says, well, I have the topic here. Do hip hop and rock have a lot in common in sampling? But that's not.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
not
Sorry.
what we're talking about.
Well, this list is cold though. We might have to
It's all good. It's all good.
readjust it. Communication, man. I still love you though.
I've just copied your topic, so
But here's the list though.
The show is live.
It is.
we are live.
Rolling Stones, they've been sampled 252. They have 252 samples in their catalog, the Rolling Stones. They're coming in at 10 with 252 records, right? Number 9 is Jimi Hendrix with 282 samples. So Jimmy has more than the Rolling Stones. He's at number 9. I don't know if any of these shock y'all, but The Doors, 287 times.
I'm not at all shocked by rock music being sampled.
I'm
Me
shocked.
neither.
I'm shocked as I figured it would be more soul and R&B records myself and jazz.
I mean, we just literally had a conversation about the so-called hip-hop purists that are talking about, well, I sampled this versus you sampling that.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep. Because I this is
that's
new.
just showing. I mean, people have range. I mean, people. It's literally called digging in the crates for a reason.
It is.
I don't think people are just like, I'm only going to sample R&B and jazz and soul records.
My thing used to be I'll sample anything with a waveform.
I've heard you. I definitely used to hear
No
you say
matter
that.
what it is.
Steve Miller Band, 319.
I can definitely hear that.
Oh, no.
Now this is how many times they've been sampled, or
Yeah, 319 samples. Yep, 319 samples.
No,
Billy Squire, 331 samples.
registered samples, mind you.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm sleep on that. Pink Floyd.
I've never heard of Billy Squire.
Not that much. Pink Floyd, 347.
That surprised me. I didn't,
That's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't see.
I get that.
I mean, I
You
know
get Pink
because
Floyd at 347?
I know
Absolutely.
a few of these, but
Have you listened to Pink Floyd?
I have, definitely. But that's why I'm saying I don't know. I don't hear the crate work.
But you know what?
in
They
their
could just
music.
take
It's
a
just
drum.
dope music.
They could take just a little riff here.
I don't know,
Yeah.
man.
You think that one is
The Wall.
But that's I don't know. Like the Pink Floyd's always been like hard for me to sample. And
Me too.
Certain rocks.
I mean,
Like,
when you
the
listen to what
go-to-
what's the name did to how he flipped Shook Ones.
Yeah, but he did like a lighter and
Yeah.
or the
Well, you talking about
stove.
Yeah, the
top,
stove joint. Yeah.
right. A lot of rock that's sampled for a lot of stuff is psychedelic rock.
Yeah.
we
Well,
go.
Pink Floyd is kind of psychedelic.
Yeah, maybe in definition, but psychedelic rock specifically has a very particular type of sound
It does.
All right.
because it kind of like uses elements of soul.
It's
and
very
stuff.
unique.
It's-
It's a
yeah.
very unique sound.
Drums are typically pretty heavy. The guitars are pretty wild. Like it's
Yeah.
not like Holland or Simon and Garfunkel thing. It's like, and it's not really like Pink Floyd either. I mean,
Yeah, they definitely have their own bag, and it's a lot
it's
of
more abrasive. It's more like kind of up tempo
Mm-hmm.
typically.
I mean, there's some crazy like European rock records and stuff from overseas that has its own sound as well. That's crazy.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. Like Pink Floyd, 347. That would shock me. Led Zeppelin, 561.
Surprised.
Yeah,
Again, Led Zeppelin is another one where
I can't flip it.
there wasn't a lot to. I mean, when I sample, I'm looking for something that's like unique. Like I'm not looking for a loop, especially from a popular group because you've already heard it.
That's
It's-
what we just talked about with the last conversation. That's how that started. With the conversation.
But it's
we were having.
so Led Zeppelin is popular. I'm not going to take Stairway to Heaven and loop it or something, or I'm not going to take Bill Withers' Ain't No Sunshine and loop the main part.
Yeah.
I think that's where the digging aspect comes in. But
No,
Or chopping.
or chopping. Yeah.
yeah, but it's
I know where he's going though.
you can tell though.
Yeah.
You
You can tell. You definitely can tell. And it sits with you when you can tell, to me, in my opinion. Queen, 668 samples at third. No shock there.
Plus part of sampling is like, especially like hip hop, is the aspect of not wanting to get caught, right? So it's like
That's what it used to
I'm
be.
not gonna sample something that people know.
Yeah.
It used to be we want the B-sides, the unknown records, the
Or we'll
know.
take a part of a 7-minute song, but we won't sample anything until like the 4-minute and 30-second
That
mark.
used to be one of my rules. I would never sample anything in the first 30 seconds.
You might find a lot of meat and potatoes in that first 30.
That's where the best stuff is typically, but because that's where the drums aren't there. But
true,
if you stay away from it, you can. That's what most people do because that's where all of the good stuff. It's typically when it's building up, and when you go to sample something, if you think about the idea of sampling, you're not looking for like the whole song. You're looking for elements, and so. When you think about the way songs are structured, you got the intro, and then it gets into the verse portion or whatever. It builds and adds all those different melodic elements, so it's building. So
and then it might, like you said, it might strip down to a bridge and then go back up.
That's typically
and then,
where you go for.
Yeah,
It's like intro, bridge, outro, typically.
That's where it's gonna be naked. Good point. Number 2, Mountain.
I've never even heard of it.
8. That's what this is. These are the things that I had no idea about. 811 samples.
I have no idea who Mountain is.
Yeah, I don't know about this one.
What's the name of an album or anything else?
Let's see.
And the thing is, it might be a situation where there's like a crazy drum break that is just extremely commonly used.
Right. Oh, actually, that might be.
That's why I see. That's
It's
why.
not. Let's see. Scratchy sounding a little underpowered, but it's been used over 500 times and continuing. The best, though, remains Eric B. and Rakim. Eric B. is president. Let's see. Just to emphasize how good the break is, the duo also deployed it on the B side from My Melody. Wow. That's tough.
I know
the
both
loop.
those
Yeah.
songs.
I know the loop. It must, and I bet you it's in the beginning. We might have to do it on the post show, but I bet you it's in the beginning. But I'm sleep on the group Mountain.
Plus, like the thing is,
Nantucket Sleigh Ride.
hip hop
Nice
winds
man.
up building upon itself so much. So other people have taken pieces of Eric B. and Rakim, but you're taking Eric B. and Rakim, but they built off of Mountain.
Yeah.
So
We just talked about evolution.
yeah.
And coming in at number 1, 1,167 samples. And I know they getting taxed for this one. It's the Beatles.
Mike was getting a nice payday.
Man.
Wait a minute, because I thought for a long time
I would never sample the beat.
you couldn't even use anything from the Beatles.
You can't.
1,167 samples.
This is where I'm like, we might need to do some investigation in this list.
They were doing good up until
Well, no,
this
because
point.
remember, it was such a big deal when Wu-Tang was able to use like My Guitar Gently Weeps for 8 diagrams.
It was one of the first times.
And that was what, 10 years ago?
The album was really bad too.
I don't really remember that.
That's why.
Remember how much trouble Danger Mouse got it? They didn't even give them the option of clearing it. I mean, it was never going to happen because it
I
was
want
a
to know
remix
more.
project.
Yeah, I would definitely want to know more information on
Yeah,
that.
so now I have
On
to
the Beatles.
Because that doesn't make any sense.
Now
at
I
all.
have to bring in the question that Mike wasn't clearing these samples either.
No,
I highly doubt it.
I can't think of any songs,
That has a Beatles
any
sample
producers that have sampled the Beatles.
because it just never gets cleared.
Even on
Can't think of anything.
Even on
Beastie Boys did.
On
For
what?
On Paul's Boutique, something on there.
That's just such a mishmash of stuff. Like there's probably stuff lawyers.
I think
lawyers
right,
are
though.
probably still listening to that album, seeing who they can sue.
Possibly. I don't. Yeah, I can't. I literally can't think of anybody.
sampling. I'm trying to see if they talk about how hard it is.
Because I'm like, are these? I mean, I can't see 1,000 cleared Beatles samples in the last 10 years.
And while you might get away with,
I don't see Dahani Harrison, who had to clear My Guitar Gently Weeps, going just ham on
and
getting
that had to
stuff
be,
done.
and that was like
That was
because
a
he's
personal
related.
relationship
Yeah, that's what
with him and the RZA.
It says, and while you might get away with a lift from a B side of an obscure 45 funk 45 without anybody noticing, there's a precious. Oh, I see what they're saying. I think they're saying, okay, we're gonna have to fact check this one because there's no way, based off what we've heard and all of the issues, that's a lot for their catalog.
Yeah.
Oh.
Boogie Down Productions, Criminal Minded, Beastie Boys, Sound of Science, Organized Confusion, Stress, Jay-Z, Encore. Jay-Z, Dirt Off My Shoulder, Danger Mouse remix, Wu-Tang Clan, My Heart Gently Weep.
What did I say? My guitar? It doesn't matter. I knew what I was talking about.
Yeah, I think that was the original though, right? Come Together. That was the Organized Confusion one.
But they might have sampled
Mike sampled that.
Mike
redid
on the
it.
category.
Yeah.
So he just redid it for
Right.
at the end of
That had to feel
Moonwalker.
good.
Mhm.
So far, that kills the integrity of the entire article.
Killed all.
So,
They were doing well. So I guess.
are you sure you read the article right?
Yeah, says
Not satire.
Yeah, it's not the Onion.
Yeah, not the 10 most sampled rock acts in hip hop history.
So now, after having a whole conversation about integrity, now we have to question the integrity of this article.
How about that?
As we've done on multiple lists and articles.
And as we should. I honestly.
I thought they started off doing great.
This is
It
like,
made sense until it got to the end.
you know, this is because it's been we were talking about producer stuff. It's one of them unwritten rules. You don't sample the Beatles.
And Stevie Wonder. Stay away from Stevie.
No,
too.
Stevie Wonder has to approve what you do if he doesn't like the song.
Which is a long shot.
Because I remember the original sample for Me and My Bee was a Stevie. It was actually a Minnie Riperton song that they sampled. And if you have the original Big Mac promo cassette, you have that version of the song that wasn't cleared. So the version that's on the album is not the original. And so Stevie Wonder heard all that cussing and was like, nope.
That's what I was about to say. Was Stevie Wonder the one that doesn't mess with the cussing at all?
It has to be in some sort of context that makes sense to him.
Yeah.
You know,
there's one artist,
Aretha Franklin was like,
maybe that's who
no cussing, because like when you listen
right.
to School Spirit on the Kanye's first album, you're like, why are all these flipped?
Yeah.
You know, it's because instead of rewriting it, to get the sample clear, they just had to flip all the curses. Because like when you listen to the album version of Miss Fat Booty by Mos Def, you know, there's one curse word in there is like, and it's silenced out.
Yeah.
And it's because for them to get the album or get the song cleared, they had to take that out. You know, so those were now a lot of times it's the publishing company or the record company that controls the sample clearances.
Yeah,
they don't care.
But that's definitely an Aretha Franklin thing, right?
But Aretha Franklin, if you sample anything Aretha Franklin, it can't have any cursing in it.
Yeah.
I don't know if the rules have changed now that she's no longer with us, God bless the dead, but I just know when she was alive, she didn't play that.
Right.
Openly, too. Yeah. All right, well.
Partners.
Shout out to partners.
Thanks to our partners. Dr. Coleman of Coleman Dental is our go-to dentist. He's a longtime Indianapolis arts and music supporter located right in Broad Ripple. Printfinity is a screen printing shop based in Indianapolis, owned and operated by our own DJ Jay Diff. Our good friends at Indie CD and Vinyl operate one of the best record stores in North America. Shop new and used in their site or visit them in person. And the best way to support the New Old Heads is to visit our Patreon and become a member for as little as $3 a month. All details on newoldheads.com. All right.
All right. We are bike. Let's see here.
Oh, man.
Ran off on the plug twice.
Two times.
Daddy calling, I ain't calling bike.
Shout to Plies,
he
man.
still put out music, man. His Instagram used to be hilarious.
I sure hope so. I always.
I hope so.
There we go. Yeah, everybody trying to auger. All right.
I'm happy. Leave me alone.
No.
That was a good.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm mad.
You mad. All right, man. So for me, we've always talked about the masters. You know, we've been through this a couple of times. People selling their masters. Everybody on one end is own your own masters. Now we just see all the OGs selling their masters. But this deal right here.
The game has changed.
The game has changed. But this deal here makes a little more sense. I see Irv Gotti got rid of a portion of his. And
Sold. Got rid of, just
Yeah,
make
you're
it seem
right.
like
Yeah,
you threw it in the trash.
Thank you, brother. And I believe the company is called Iconoclast. If I didn't pronounce that right, I'm sorry. I looked up their website here.
Mm-hmm.
All it has is the headline. Uses tech to preserve and grow artists' intellectual property and legacy. That's all they have, and then they have a whole bunch of links to Facebook, IG, etc. But Irv Gotti got $100 million, and he got a $200 million line of credit.
Got a stipend.
Yeah. $200 million line of credit to go with it to use for his other ventures. Like he has the Tales series that he does about the hip hop records and bringing those to life.
Those are pretty good. He hasn't done one of those in a long time.
Yeah, but
The ones I saw were fire
Excellent.
to his credit. So it's a line of credit for him to produce, create, and own his own TV projects in the future. So this is the first time I saw one that had a complete breakdown. Two questions. One, sounds like a dope idea. I'll see what you guys think if you think it's a dope idea. And two, why why is this company doing this? Because people aren't stupid when they make investments. There has to be something I feel like that's being missed because they're not just out here randomly copping masters. There's something that I still can't figure out. Maybe y'all can.
I still don't get what's going on, to be honest with you. I mean, we've had the conversation
I think
about
I've kind of figured it out.
That's why I want to know. Is maybe y'all might have a different take after hearing this, because this is a good deal to me on Irv Gotti's part. $100 million in the bank, and then I get 200 as a what you say loan
stipend
as a stipend to
line of credit stipend.
Yeah,
it is
to be able to continue my own projects and I own them. That's a good deal.
Still got to pay
the new
money
ones.
back.
The new projects? He owns the new projects?
Yes,
or?
it says it's a line
It's
of
for
credit for him
TV.
to produce, create, and own his own TV projects in the future.
But why wouldn't he be able to own anything he does in the future, even if he's selling what he's made in the past?
That's the part I don't understand
Okay.
because there's something that I'm missing here. The deal sounds fire, but why is this company going out snatching up, all these masters?
You know
That's
the
the part
answer,
I don't
right?
get. Huh?
You know the answer.
I know what you're gonna say.
Capitalism.
I know what you're gonna say. Jay Moore, you said you may have cracked the code. What do you think?
I wouldn't say crack the code, but I just kind of can see from a certain perspective. Okay,
and I'm asking from the company's perspective.
Because okay, here I am. I'm not a creative, but I do know, and I have certain relationships as far as marketing, as far as getting placements. Being able to capitalize on having access to certain parts of pop culture. Okay. And so what I can do is I can pay you this lump sum, give you, and we've seen this with Justin Timberlake and Drake sold part of his catalog, and where it becomes mutually beneficial is like, okay, I know how to create more money, not only for myself, but for you, the rights holder.
Right.
And then at the same time, if I'm the rights holder, I don't want to. Irv Gotti's not into making records anymore.
Right.
He's into creating television shows. He's into creating a narrative, and I need capital to be able to do those things and be able to own them going forward. So I see it as if you have that mindset, it's a mutually beneficial thing for you to do. Now, if you're just somebody who's like, yeah, I'm just selling my masters, I don't quite get that because I know Lil Wayne did that. And I'm not sure if he just wanted the
a lot
money.
of people would seem like
This
is the first time I saw something that looks different from what we've
when I see Irv's deal, I feel like, okay, yes, I'm selling my portion of my rights to this particular part of pop culture.
Right.
Okay. And these people can help me not only place it and make money and perhaps create deals from, the intellectual property that I have created, but then they can give me money up front that is not recoupable, that I just get to create more art going forward, that I'd be able to create something that maybe down the line I can sell again, because now I'm making these TV shows. Now I'm creating these movies. Now I'm getting things that I can stream.
Let me show.
So I'm just saying that, like, when this is the first deal where I've heard, okay, this makes perfect sense to me.
It makes sense on his end, but I think the problem is, or where I'm lost in the sauce essentially, is the person or the group of people that are buying up all these masters.
That's what I can't figure out.
Like
no, because they're the ones who have the relationships and the wherewithal to create placements, to figure out how to actually leverage these catalogs into more money. That maybe Irv Gotti, okay, yes, I have the rights to something, but okay, it pays me whatever the publishing is or whatever, I don't know the specifics of his particular deal that he had with Def Jam or whatever.
So you think this company can make those masters
Where are they
work?
getting all this money from to buy all these masters?
That's
Hedge
another
funds.
question.
Man,
Bro, that's
these are
these are
people. I'm telling you, it all goes back to capitalism. Hedge funds.
It really does.
These are people that have
billionaires.
These are people that have a lot of money that have nothing to do with actually creating content, and they want to get into that game, and so this is their way into the game.
Terry
See, my
asking the
thing
questions
is-
I want to know.
my thing is, even if I had that, if I own this particular catalog of all these hits,
Right.
I might sell a percentage of it,
Yeah.
but I would still want to hold on to some of it for some reason. Me personally, because that's part of me.
True.
I feel like I've sold all of me that I've done to you, essentially just to get a big lump sum, versus I could negotiate. Maybe I keep 25%.
That was what I was gonna say. Are we 100% sure that these people that are selling their catalogs, their masters, that
That's what they're saying. Like,
are
they,
they? Are we?
They've liquidated it,
like
essentially.
100%.
Yeah, and I don't understand, like, because they can use those same resources to hire somebody to commercialize their music. Because if they're not that tied to it, to where you just want to sell it all off all of a sudden, why not go ahead and make some more money off of it? That's where I'm kind of lost at.
Well, this is what and like I said, I could have it wrong, and somebody, in the chat, or
maybe I need more research.
Send it to your cousin or whatever who might know Irv Gotti. But if I partner with this person, and I sell them a portion of my intellectual property, and then they're able to say I'm able to maximize it at a rate of 25%, but they have a plan in place to where they could maximize it at a rate of 125%, then I'm able to still make money off of my intellectual property, and then give a certain amount of money up front to create my own art. Now I'm into TV. Now I'm into movies. I can create that and own 100% of that. Yeah. Like the other ones, I just felt like were cash grabs. I could be wrong. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not trying. I don't begrudge anybody, because if you can just go, if you feel like, okay, I'm done with this music thing, or I want to do something else.
I still want to own at least some of what I want to be able to pass this down to my kids or something. Like, I mean.
But some people are like, I want to pass them down.
I hustle for my last name. Yeah, that's true. Something that you pass on,
right,
for generations.
It's funny that you said that.
But that's where I say that, where some of these people are just like, I just want $100 million right now.
But you mentioned it earlier when we talked about, to bring everything full circle for this show, you talked about integrity is different for other people. On his IG post, he said he got emotional because he looked up at his kids and said, y'all good. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing he said to his kids when he was signing everything over. Y'all straight. You good now.
They was good anyway.
That's what I would have thought. But he says,
but now they good.
The $100 million of the deal is me selling my masters, and I only own half. So I own 50-50 with Universal, and half of my masters is worth $100 million.
So he sold his whole half.
His portion he sold to these people, and then they gave him a stipend for.
So they essentially gave him a stipend, as we're saying, but it's also, it seems like it's an invitation to do business on stuff in the future.
Well, see,
of sorts.
His, like Jay Moore was saying, makes sense because he was able to spin it into getting that $200 million on top of $100 million, right, in order to make what his next career move makes sense.
Right.
But me personally, what I'm saying is,
I get 100% what you get it.
Yeah.
Is I would still want to have some of that. Just because that's kind of, I mean, is history essentially.
True.
But at the same time, his name's attached to it.
It is. So, but like we were just talking about hedge funds.
Right.
Now nobody benefits off of a hedge fund later on down the line because it's all gone.
It's all billionaires and stuff. Yeah.
I mean, Terry, that's a good point. Like, you want to keep it's like the old folks, you say you want to keep something, keep it in the family. You want to keep something in the family, keep it in the family. So a portion of that, I could see one, maybe a 25% of it. We want to keep
just
that.
Something like something,
But like Jay Moore said earlier, in his mind, he's thinking my kids are 100% straight now for good, and I can get out here to this TV money and do what I got to do. So
yeah, and it's like if he has the right ideas, which Irv stays plotting. Yeah, and I mean that in a good way.
Yeah, yeah.
Shout out to his brother.
Killing him, and I don't side with nobody, but 50 is doing very well.
Yeah.
On the TV side.
So when you see what TV money looks like compared to music money, you better go ahead and you better come on in when it comes to this TV.
If you watch the video on IG, he's to Terry's point about wanting to hold on to your legacy. Like, he's emotional in his mug as he's getting ready to sign everything over, because that's blood, sweat, and tears for everything that he put his soul into. So I could understand that. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, he's really content with the choice.
To say he takes $10 million of this $100 million that he gets and he creates $1 billion IP.
Yeah.
I mean, that's solid.
Yeah.
I
mean,
it's like investing on yourself in a way.
Yeah.
It's just taking it back to the streets. It's another flip.
It's another flip. So yeah, this one definitely stood out versus Wayne and some of the other ones, and I mean, it makes sense. But I still got questions about this company when they are getting to.
No, I got because I'm like,
and then they're still performing these songs.
True.
So like these people that have sold off their catalogs are still out performing them on tour or wherever, award shows. So, like, how does that work?
Iconoclast uses tech to preserve and grow artists' intellectual property and legacy. They statement.
I don't know. I'm sure that's in the clause somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
you know, based upon like future works. I mean, if you're selling your masters and if you're selling masters, you're selling your recordings.
Yep.
Right. So you're selling everything you're recording and everything you're making off of that. I don't know if that is 100% related to performance.
So that means that if
But
your
it is, 'cause he
records
said-
sell
but he
anymore
said-
after you sell your masters, you don't get that money anymore?
I guess it probably depends on the deal, but yeah.
Damn.
well,
From
you
the
know,
outside looking in, they would get everything moving forward.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. They
I
would
mean,
get
and it depends on what kind of deal they had initially, you know, because like remember when Straight Outta Compton came out, you know, and they had to paint a pretty good picture of Eazy-E, even with everything that was going on, because they couldn't clear any of that music from the Ruthless era without Tamika Wright, Eric White, aka
Well, they
Eazy-E.
did a real good job with it.
But if she doesn't sign off on it,
it's not happening.
nothing from the, you know, because she owns Ruthless.
Right.
So, you know, when you look at that story and the narrative that's created, you got to think, okay, well, how much did they have to do to go ahead and clear this music? And when you look at any biopic,
Yeah.
you have to take that into account.
Hey.
Because like maybe the rights hold, like they can't tell the real story because the rights holder's like, we're not going to put that in. You got to edit that out.
Yeah. Well, they kept it in the family. So
I guess these people that sold off their catalogs won't be having any biopics anytime soon.
Yeah.
They still might have it.
They still might have
They're going
it.
to see
Soon as
somebody
that
different.
money get right on the person that owns the masters.
Yeah, they got to see somebody different though if they want to get the
Rights,
songs
you
cleared.
know, publishing, masters, it all, you know.
Stevie, don't sell off your stuff, man. Go ahead and get your bio going.
We need that to be done the right
now,
way, man.
Let's get it. No ill will on Stevie. Let's keep him around as long as possible.
Long as possible.
But please,
But also,
do your own
you know, it also
biopic.
All right, man. Let's
get
get to the
one. We
list.
can talk about that all day.
Yeah, we definitely can stay on that. Now, where we left off last time was Beats by the Pound, Rick Rock. I think with Beats by the Pound, I don't even think we need to go through the. We're very familiar with Beats by the Pound.
Everything No Limit.
No, yeah,
Everything No Limit.
everything No Limit. At one point, that was their in-house production, just like it was the Funk Brothers and Holland Dozier and
Which I
Holland
still
with
think
Motown. That think Beats by the Pound.
Which
for
I
No
still
Limit.
think to this day is one of the craziest.
Formulas.
Yes, because
They drop
those
some every other
dudes
week
drop
down
so many out. That's a lot of beats.
there. And they should have really never left No Limit.
True.
They had a good thing going.
They had a great, it was great. Like the amount of content that a product that No Limit put out. Y'all remember? I think it was every
He
Tuesday.
was like, y'all remember?
Y'all know
Pepperidge
they-
Farm Bros.
Tuesdays was a holiday back in the day.
bruh.
Every Tuesday.
Pen and Pixel, we see
Depending on who dropped.
right. So
You know, one of Pen and Pixels, like their rules was when they was creating album covers, is like, look,
You got 20 minutes.
you cannot
why you say it like that?
we cannot depict the car of a rival CEO being blown up on the cover of a
No, because they literally had to have the car brought to a studio to take pictures of it anyway.
yeah, it was always something crazy.
Like, there wasn't no pulling stock images off a line back then.
Well, we know about Beats by the Pound, so I don't think we need to go through that. We know what they did and what they could do.
Mystical, Master P, Silk
Yeah.
the Shocker.
Absolutely.
Why you smile when you say Silk though?
See Murder.
Mr. Servon.
Fiend.
Yep. Mia
Mac.
X.
Jay Moore copped that Mercedes.
Sons of Funk.
Sons of Funk.
I did not
Cain
even.
and Abel.
I did not. Little Italy.
Little Italy.
Even though
Full Blooded.
Little Italy.
Y'all remember
Little Italy.
Y'all remember Full Blooded? It had the American flag on it.
no, I don't remember that. At
I went
all.
to No Limit High School. I'm sorry.
No, I
I
don't.
think everybody went to No Limit High School.
No,
man.
I don't know, man.
I'm older than y'all, so no, I didn't go to
That's
No
what I'm
Limit High
saying.
School.
Yeah.
We went to No Limit High School. Who else you say?
Mine might have been divided a little bit.
Who else you say, Jay Moore? Who we missing? You said Mac?
Little Soldiers.
You say Mac? You
Soldier
Little
Slim.
Soldier. You stupid.
Yes, give it to him
Soulja
raw.
Slim, yeah.
Soldier Slim.
Anybody buy that Little Italy album?
Little
No.
Italy.
Young Bleed. No,
No, Young
Blizzy?
Bleed was that was
Yeah.
something different.
that was something different.
Let's just get to
Mr.
this.
Servon.
All right.
Fiend.
All right.
All right, so starting off, Influence. Impact on the peers and upcoming producers.
8.
7.
Lone, you were influenced.
To not sound like them. So does that count in that manner?
However you feel.
Technically,
brother.
that is an influence.
Yeah.
6.
So you give him a 10.
This is gonna be so fun for me because I know where Lone is with Beats by the Pound.
Yeah, 6, I guess.
I mean, I wasn't the biggest No Limit fan, but
Me neither.
I'm gonna keep it real.
Versatility, Lone.
5.
4.
5.
3.
Dang, y'all. It went down 5, 4, 3. All right, Jay Diff, you said
5.
okay. Lone said 3.
4.
Man, tough room, man. I'm gonna go 5. Collaborators, different hip hop styles, artists.
It was just a tank.
2.
Yeah.
Wow, this is gonna turn into a hog tie.
3.
I'm gonna give him a 4 on that one.
2.
No, I don't know anything they did outside of No Limit. So
Swear I
But
don't.
they had a whole bunch of
Yeah,
artists
had a
on.
whole bunch of artists.
Different types of artists too now.
Mystical
bunch of
sound
artists.
way different than Silk the Shockers ad libs.
honestly, it sounds all the same to me.
What you say? What you say, Terry?
I said
4.
4.
Okay. Big hits, cult classics. Now
See, this is
8.
where you
This-
gotta be for
9.
real. Yeah, I'll give him a 9.
I'm gonna give them a 9. You gotta keep it a buck here. Yeah, you gotta keep it a buck. They got cult classics. Lone says 8. At least he's honest. Consistency, quality of material release.
If we
5.
talking about consistency, it would have been 10. But
True.
You said quality of material.
That quality got you, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's gonna drop it down to about a 5.
I'm gonna balance it out. I'm gonna say 6. I'm gonna go 6. I like Terry at 5. Jay
4.
Moore.
5.
I'm gonna go 4. I like the Puzzle Piece album.
The Puzzle Piece album.
Everybody that knows.
So this is
Everybody
reasonable
knows,
because somebody else rating Beats by the Pound are probably screaming at us right now.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. We just got to be fair, man. We got to be consistent. And I know some people that love Beats by the Pound. All right,
Body of work.
they got a nice body of work, man.
I'll give them an 8.
I
Yeah,
mean,
you-
they have no choice. They had to put out an album every 2 weeks.
How great is their
Overall body of work. I mean, you got multiple cult classics. You got iconic.
There's a lot of
hip-hop.
stuff. There's a lot of stuff in there we just don't care about in 2022.
Yeah.
But the ones that lasted are
that's
cult classic joints.
that's for the cult classic
Yeah,
category.
exactly. Yeah,
It is,
we already
man.
hit that.
I'm trying. It is.
Yeah.
Hold on, okay.
Body of work now. They got a.
Body.
And they stopped
Body, yaddy, yaddy, yaddy,
Look.
yaddy, yaddy.
around Snoop.
Nah, it went a little bit after. Yeah, it went a little bit
No,
after.
because
Snoop.
that's when they pretty
They
much
left the
terminated the
tank.
contract
Yeah,
or whatever.
maybe a tad bit after Snoop, but
I'm gonna give them a 7 actually.
you gonna go 7?
I'm gonna go
5.
7.
I think I'm being generous.
Me too. I mean, it's
Yeah.
super generous.
I mean, we talking about Master P. Got some classics under his belt. Whether
Cult.
you want to believe it or not.
He
Not
does.
even just cult.
Now listen,
Master
man.
P got a classic or two under his belt.
Ghetto Dope is cult for me. I ain't
Yeah.
knocking it, but I don't think it's one of those classics. I'll
All
say,
right.
but it's a cult classic. That's just my opinion.
Does Mystical have a classic under the No Limit flag?
Unpredictable.
Unpredictable might go.
Does Mac have a classic under the No Limit flag?
I never liked Mac.
I don't think he cult
I
shell
never got
shock.
into him.
Shell shock.
Shocked is the consensus though.
Yeah,
Right?
cult.
Mhm.
That's cult.
The
No Limit Top Dog.
What about Silk the Shock's ad
No.
libs?
That you don't think that's a classic
Stop,
Snoop
man.
album?
But you know what? That wasn't all Beats by the Pound.
Aha,
The
he got
records
you
that
there.
you really liked, that wasn't all.
He
That
got you
wasn't
there. Yeah. Charge it to the game. Is,
FDM was Beats by the Pound.
who?
them. Who?
Wasn't FDM other?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wasn't that on Magic's album?
Hey, you did good on that, bro. You did good.
That
No,
was
that was on
I don't know,
Snoop's album.
but it was a Beats by the Pound beat though.
It's definitely KLC. 100%. 100%. That's facts. And that goes to this day.
But you know, when I think of that, I think No Limit Top Down. I think of Beat Please.
No.
Yeah, that too. But it
Well, what's
had a
it-
bunch of hits on that album though.
Mhm.
That's when Snoop really got back in his bag.
Hey, what's the name of that record?
No Limit Top Dog.
No, I'm talking about the song that you just described.
No,
that I
don't,
said.
don't,
No,
no,
I'm not about to say it
We're not going
again.
to do that again.
I was just trying. But Jay Moore, that album is known for. To me, that's the joint that I remember that on that album, and it is some more heat. It's some more heat on
No,
there.
like the stuff that I like was outside because Snoop was the one really using outside producers on No Limit.
All right, man. All right, fair enough.
I'm gonna switch mine. My consistency of quality material released, I'm gonna make that a 5.
Whoop. Okay.
Rather than a 4.
Okay. Long giving back to the community. Okay.
Giving them turkeys on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I see you out here with the truck open.
Where you say it's average?
Not really. Well, sometimes I get that category a little confused with the final product one because
5 is average. So that's the average.
Okay.
And they just it's average because they was just doing too much.
True.
Yeah, they overworked.
Final product. How often are
they
the
all
songs,
can't be winners?
If we grading on a scale, on a curve scale, say that.
How often are the records great, y'all, on their beats?
The percentages, I'm gonna go about 40%.
So
I'm
that's
gonna go about
4.
4.
I'm gonna give them a C. What does a C equate to?
A 7.
A 7?
No, that's too high.
Yeah, so we
A
can't
C?
give him a C. Yeah,
I'm gonna go
I'm gonna give 'em a
5.
6.
I'm gonna go 5.
I mean, I guess you can't really say that because when we talk about 1 to 10, a 5 is an average, and
This
that's
isn't
not a
necessarily
bad
their
thing.
fault. This is just
No, it's. I mean,
This
you can
isn't
only
their
make so
fault,
many
like-
beats for so many artists, bro. Like it's gonna start sounding.
I gotta give them a 5 too. Honestly,
Yeah,
I'm
5.
going 5.
I give him
I
a
gotta
5.
give them a 5.
Yeah.
Damn.
Hold on.
Sorry, y'all.
It got heat.
You know
now.
what? No,
They just got
I can't
too
give him
much.
a 5. I gotta
They
give him.
got-
I
they
gotta
got
give him
too much.
the songs I know and I love, but there's just still so much in there that I don't care about at all.
Well,
they got a
we'll
whole
say it
lot.
with
so
your chest.
so
What
we're
you
gonna
want?
give him a 4.
Okay.
entire albums I'll never listen to.
There are entire albums I listen to and never listen to again.
Yeah.
Now that I'm in that side. There's some I'll never listen to again.
And some of the beats were recycled as
True.
part 2s.
Yeah.
But when you're in the shop,
Yeah,
24/7.
yeah.
You know what I'm talking
yeah,
about?
producer's block.
Melodic, I'll go 7, 8, 7.
Everything is no sample.
No,
That
there's
doesn't
samples in
but
there.
that doesn't matter.
They sample
They
stuff that
replayed it.
It doesn't matter in this category.
You don't
Yeah,
think
they
so?
just
Playing
replayed
melodies?
It. They
It's
replayed 'em.
called melodic elements. It's not called whether they use samples or play it or if one of those is better than the others. It's how good are the melodic elements.
No matter how they get them.
Yes.
yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Some people
They're
sample,
not that
some people
good,
don't.
though. I'm just saying for these guys, they're not.
Yeah, but they're there.
They're there.
7.
I'm average on these. I'm average.
I'll do 7.
That's melodic.
Great song.
Yeah. Yeah, that's melodic. You know when
I'll give him a 6.
Oh, I
I'll give him
gotta
a 6. I'll give him a 6.
I just thought about
I
it's
mean,
not long. I just thought about Mystical's.
Yeah, Mystical.
What you call
Unpredictable.
it?
There they go.
That. Here I go. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go. I'm
the
gonna take
bass
it.
lines, rhythm
Yeah.
section.
I'm being disrespectful.
I actually don't think Beats by the Pound made that beat.
They
though.
didn't do that one.
He wasn't with. He wasn't.
He
with,
wasn't. That was
No
early
Limit.
Mystical.
He wasn't with No Limit when
Well,
that
whoever
came
produced that
Oh,
beat.
really? Oh.
Whoever produced that beat.
Unpredictable, yeah.
Oh.
We
But
talking
that
about the album
particular
before
beat,
that.
No,
Yeah.
he was.
I was
not
like,
with-
I'm gonna have to change my numbers even lower.
Nah.
Yeah.
I'm basing a lot
That's
of this
one of
off
my
of.
favorite Mystical
You're basing
songs.
a lot of this on Unpredictable.
Ah,
Well, I
man.
mean, that was my favorite No Limit album. So
Charge to the Game is one of their best albums. Sorry.
All right.
So, yeah.
Melodic, man. 6. I'm gonna give him a 6.
I'm gonna go 5, man. What you got, Jay Moore?
I said 6.
6.
I'm gonna go 7.
See you long.
Drums.
Why you? All right. Well, I'm starting with you since you giggled. What you got?
I just do 5.
Yeah, 5.
I'm gonna go 5. Nothing special
Yeah, I
about the
mean, I
drum
think they
program.
probably recycled a lot of those.
They definitely did.
Yeah, 5.
Okay. Well, it is.
Legends got hogtied.
Legends got hogtied.
Mm.
Dang.
But
That's just
you know,
volume, man.
but
That's volume.
but it's crazy what you see. Like, okay, we gave him 4s, 2s in one in one section, but then the next section
9s.
3 9s and an 8.
Yeah. Are we being fair? Being fair.
I mean, if we're doing this by averages, I mean, everybody knows how a grading scale works.
Facts.
If you have more assignments and you fail most of the assignments, then unfortunately, I mean,
He said if you have more assignments and you fail, I feel you. Well, we'll rock with that.
I mean, you got
we're not even necessarily fail. You could have got
a
you could have got
D or
D's. You
yeah.
could have got a couple C minuses.
You could have got 95 on 20 tests, but you took 150 tests.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're talking about. You guys are absolutely correct with these guys on this one. All right. So we had legends to get hogtied. I thought we were out of the hogtie phase. Clearly not.
No.
All right,
too
man, let's
much
go.
material. They hurt themselves with that.
Let's go to Rick Rock. I got some production.
We're
pulled
out
up.
of time.
Oh, we out of time. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Got a nice list too.
Yeah, we'll
I'll
get to
save
this
that.
one.
All right, Ben. Shout out to the chat. We appreciate you if you stuck around with us. We appreciate that. As always, go to newoldheads.com for all the education you need this year from us. And we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
In a minute.
Yeah.